Hi everybody, Mr. Jones here. This is Brooklyn. He's our rescue dog with no teeth. He's been keeping me company. Today I'm going to be showing you how to draw the correct proportions of the human body. Proportion is one of the principles of design. Proportion is the relative size of things, how sizes relate to each other. So if I'm drawing a face, how big are the eyes in relation to the face? And today I'm going to be showing you the average proportions of a human body, how big is the head in relation to the torso, and so on. Basically, how to draw a human body. I'm going to be going kind of quick because this is a video, so I don't want to take up too much time. The nice thing about a video, though, is if I go too fast for you, you can rewind it, watch parts of it over again, rewatch it until you get the hang of it. Okay? So, like I said, proportions, how sizes relate to each other. So if I had a fork, fork here, and standing next to it was a person. Now, looking at how the sizes of these things relate to each other, is that a giant fork and a normal sized person, or is that a tiny person and a regular sized fork? I don't have enough size stuff to relate it to, so I don't really know. But if I add a tree to this, now I know in relation to the tree, that person is normal size. So that means this is a giant fork. Okay? So proportion is something that artists mess with, especially anime. They have giant eyes for the face and things like that. But we're going to be trying to do just this sort of average proportions of the human body. I had students that have called this the bubble person. You can call it whatever you want. But once you figure out how to do this, you can draw all kinds of characters and all kinds of poses, because you can pose this too. Now, one thing I hear from people is, I only know how to draw a stick figure. And if you look at a stick figure, I mean, there's all kinds of things wrong with it. One is your head is not a big circle. That's Jack in the Box. He looks weird, so you want to do that. The other thing is that the arms are just sticking straight out. They're not bending. The legs are just sticking straight out. Nobody stands like that, okay, unless they're the goalie in a soccer game. So one easy thing you could do if you just used your head is to add the second parts to this and create a body that's actually bending, okay? The other thing that you should know just by thinking about it is that your body is not a stick. Nobody is that skinny. I hope not. Okay? So it should be a shape instead of lines. So we're going to start with the head. So once you draw the head, which is kind of like an egg, that pretty much tells you what the size of the body is going to be after this. So it kind of dictates the whole size of the rest of the body, the proportions. Okay? So now I would add a neck, which actually comes down from your ears. If you put your fingers here and go down, that's where your neck is. Okay? It's not a little stick sticking out of the bottom there. Okay? And now we're going to do the torso. Now, on an average person, again, this is just average proportions, the torso is about 2 heads big. So I want to make sure at least my torso is about 2 of these heads. Okay? Now, some people draw it as like a triangle, because then you have the shoulders. That's all up to you. How you do that, that's really your choice. Because this is just sort of a guide. You kind of sketch this down, and then you go back over it and add clothes and the face and all the details to it. Okay? Now, the first part of your arm's broken into 3 parts: your bicep, your forearm, and your hand. Okay? The first part of your elbow actually hits about around the stomach. So that's how big the first part, that's only the first part of the arm should be. Okay? It should be the same on both sides on an average person. Some people are different. That's okay. Now, the second part of your arm is about as big as the bicep part, so you're going to do about the same length here. It's going to look weird at first because it doesn't have the bottom part of the body. And then for the hands, if I'm just doing a quick sketch, I don't have time to draw all the fingers and everything, so I'm just going to do kind of an oval there to show where the hands are. Okay? Now, this part down here is going to be the hips. the waist or the hip part of the body. Okay, this is just the top part of the torso. So, and that's because it's actually two separate things. Because if somebody's bending, their hips go one direction and their torso goes the other. So for that, I'm going to draw just kind of a circle, maybe have it overlap a little bit here, like that. Okay. Now we're going to draw the legs. The legs have three parts: the thigh, the calf, and then the feet. Okay. Your thigh on an average person is about the same size as the torso. So it needs to be at least this long. Okay. So I'm going to draw it about that long. And it's kind of thicker than the arms. Okay, unless this person's a big football player or something. So like that. Now if you got it right, your hands, and you can try this, if you stand up, your hands come to about the middle of your thighs when you're standing up. So if you've got it right, you should have the hands right about midway to the thighs. Now I'm going to draw the bottom part, which is about the same size as the top, the thighs, just a little skinnier. These are the calves. Now the feet, if they're facing forward, it's just going to be kind of a circle facing forward. That's kind of foreshortening, they call it. If they're off to the side, not a lot of people stand like that, but if they're over to the side, you're going to see the side like that. Once you get the hang of drawing this sort of bendy body, you can pose it in all kinds of ways. The tricky part, though, is you want to still keep the same proportions. So even though you're putting it in different poses, you want to keep the correct proportions. So pretty much, I always start with the head. You could start with any type of part of the body, but once you draw one part of the body, it tells you what all the other proportions have to be. So I can take this bendy guy and I can go like this. There's the neck, draw the torso, the arms, and the other arm come back like this and bend it. Remember, this is about the size of this. Okay, it comes about halfway through there. Remember that the thigh is going to be about the same size as that. And now I have a running guy. Now once I have this drawing all down, I can come back over it and add the correct details to it, the clothes and everything, and have it like that. If I want to do like the action figure pose, like when they land, I can do this, and have that in the hand. Thigh goes up here like this. And if you ever see like comic books, when the artist is drawing it the first time, it's just sort of these bubble scribbles and everything, and then they go back with their ink and they add like all the face and the details in it, Batman, and the muscles. Because if you think of this as more like a skeleton, it's not really how the person looks. So you can pose it in all kinds of interesting and weird ways, but only certain ways, because if you bend the body in the wrong ways, it's going to end up looking like somebody that maybe fell off of a bridge or something. But you can pose it into all kinds of ways. So what I would like you to do is practice drawing the body with the correct proportions, and then draw at least 6 or 8 different poses with the bodies. If you want to get to an advanced level, you can add clothes and face to it and actually flesh it out and make it into a person. Okay? Good luck, and I hope to see you soon.